Hello. I've just learned something really amazing. I think we have as humans. There's a new theory of human evolution that's gaining traction, and it's really interesting that there are lots of different types of hominid that have evolved. These different subgroupings of humans, early humans. And only one of these subgroupings survived, and that's us, Homo sapiens, we're called. And it's an interesting term, isn't it, Homo sapiens? Because when we look at ourselves, we kind of often don't think, well, I don't think we are very wise. And yet, why are we the ones that survived? And there's always been this notion that we've inherited through Charles Darwin, the survival of the fittest. And yet, the new theory is that actually the reason that we've survived is not because we were the most cruel and kind of meanest and selfish, but rather the opposite, that we were the kindest. And this is known as survival of the kindest, because of all those early ancestors, we were the most able to care for each other. And there's a lot of evidence for this, that, we cared for each other, that there's evidence of skulls and people or limbs of early ancestors that were disabled, that clearly were cared for and were looked after. And there's also evidence that our branch of this species, we really interacted successfully with other branches of species, so that it was through being open-minded and open and taking the risk of communication with others, with strangers, with strange beings that seemed very different from us, that we were able to build these bridges between different groupings and racial groupings and tribal groupings, through our openness, through our care, through our compassion with each other, through altruism. This is incredible because it totally changes this view that we have of humans as kind of cruel, and, even though we are, prone to, violence when we feel threatened, and that's part, or kind of, this will to power that pushes people away, and all the things we know that we are not good at, and we can be very unpleasant. Underneath it all is this view that kindness is not a weak force, that love is actually the most powerful force because it ensures survival. It's the only power that ensures survival. And so really, I want to just offer this as a contemplation for each of us, that kindness is an extraordinary power. And you can put this into practice for yourself, and you can look at the evidence in your life. Just today, as you watch this, or tomorrow, go out into your day and be really kind, be extra kind. Be really considerate, in any way whatsoever. Maybe it's being open to a stranger, maybe it's listening, maybe it's reaching out to someone you haven't seen or someone that's suffering. Perhaps it's caring for some plants in your garden or insects, or, something simple, rescuing a spider. It doesn't really matter. Or giving something to someone, or just giving them your time, the gift of your time, listening. Go out and be extra kind for a day, as an experiment. Extra kind. Even maybe make some space in the day where you put things off that you normally would have done, or take the day off from work, and go out and just have a kindness day. Or bring your kindness into your work through your attitude. Just change the way you see, and so that you soften even more. And look and see what kind of a day you have, and how it feels as you watch the forces of that day spinning around, and how the day choreographs itself perhaps in a different way. And when you get to the end of the day, really think back about it and, experiment with and really consider the power of kindness. And you'll see that you'll be connecting in with the very roots of your humanity, of our humanity, what makes us so awesome, what will ensure our survival moving through very uncertain times, that we're open to each other, that we listen to each other, that we care for those in need, that we speak words of kindness. We let kindness resonate through our voice, through our tone. Not as something fake, but as something genuine coming from inside us. And just open to this possibility, and perhaps we can tune together into the currents of what it means to truly thrive, as a species, even in times of change. Because our ancestors also faced huge climactic, questions and difficulties and changes, massive changes. And yet the ones that survived were the ones that were the most adaptable. And the ones that were most adaptable were the ones that communicated the best. And the way to communicate the best is through kindness. Really consider this.